Often mess.
Yes.
It sucks, don't it? I don't know what the hell happened. During the off season, usually about halfway through a tour, it's impossible to get me sick because my immune system, I've shook so many hands and been so close to so many diseases, I think I'm just immune. Thank God. But at the beginning of the year, man, it's hell. We have one show, shake a bunch of hands, come home coughing like hell. My wife thought I was dying. I almost passed out in the shower. That's a bad deal. You won't pass out when you're naked. It's about like dying on the toilet. There's just some shit you don't want to do. That's what God almighty. Y'all are fun. All right, so have you had time to I feel like I'm a teacher. Have you had time to think about this? You look excited. Oh, well, hell, I took the day off, too. Well, thank you. I appreciate it. Was that your, thank my parents? I sure will. Thanks, Dad. For what, son? My dad drinks beer full time now. Good man. Yes, ma'am. You got a question?
Yeah.
Was that your question? Yeah. Was that, oh, good. Come on. All right.
We saw your brother Colt in November, Colt Ford, and he said that you guys were coming on tour, and we saw you just announced it. Anyway, you guys are coming to Florida?
Yes.
Jacksonville?
Please.
Tampa?
Damn. That wasn't a question. That was a warning. Jacksonville. Say no, you son of a bitch. I dare you. Your ass wet been here for no reason.
Or do we drive to North Carolina?
Well, hell, I would imagine we'll probably try to swing by Florida. If not, we'll catch it on the back end. Hopefully. Yeah, it's going to be Colt and I and Mr. Justin Moore. That'll be a fun one. Y'all never had a chance to meet either one of them fellas, do it. They're absolutely wonderful people and just good country folks. You'll meet some folks in the business that you just see whip their asses, talk to them, they ain't too up. Yes, sir.
Hey, what Harley are you riding?
Well, right now I'm still trying to show my 99 some attention. That was the first bike I ever owned. It was a 99 Softail Custom Night Train. So I still try to love on her a little bit, but I got a 2012 Street Glide that Fat Baggers did for me. That's my baby. I'm 30 years old, I figured it was time for a bagger. Like most people I know wait till 40. I lived hard, man. I'm 31. I've got gray hairs in weird places. Yes, ma'am.
Broncos or Panthers?
Broncos or Panthers? All right, some of you might not like this answer, but I'll be honest with you. It can kind of swing either way for me. I'm a Peyton Manning fan. It's because he's old school and he's country as hell. There ain't many quarterbacks. I don't know how many more years we're going to have a chance to see a guy that just steps back with a cannon like that and throws. But then again, Carolina's close to home, so I wouldn't mind them winning. I like Cam Newton. He just went to Auburn, and that's the only thing that kicks my ass. There you go. All right, is that a question over there, buddy?
Yes, sir. I seen you in Orlando last time, man.
Yeah.
You're a badass, man. I have to ask a question. You have to tell the story to them. What happened at the airport?
Oh, when I got locked up at the airport.
Yeah. I swear to God, that's the best story of all times, right?
Yeah, it sucked. So the girl I was with at the time decided it'd be a great idea to hide all my brass knuckles in different places. And I never wear shorts, ever. Because I got chicken legs and makes me feel naked. I just don't like shorts. We go to the beach, I wear a pair of sweatpants. So we're going through the security line, and this cop walks up to me, and it wasn't a TSA agent. They went straight to the cops. I reckon I look like that guy. can't wait to get some shit for that one. So y'all look out for TMZ. They're gonna get all over that. But we were actually in Nashville on the way to Vegas for the ACM Awards, and this cop walks up to me and he's real nervous, you know. He says, "Hey man, I know who you are." I was like, "Cool." That's not why I'm talking to you. You wouldn't happen to have a set of brass knuckles on you, would you? I said, "Well, if you're asking me that question, chances are pretty high that I do. And if I do, I guarantee you I know where they're at, too. There's a pair of shorts in there that I swore up and down to God I wasn't going to wear, but I thought, we're going to Vegas. They got heated pools, and hot tubs, and hell, I may wear a pair of shorts. You got to turn over a new leaf." It's a bad deal. So I said, "Brother, if you don't mind," I said, if it's a problem, you got to lock me up or whatever, I'd appreciate it if you wouldn't handcuff me, because everybody who's anybody's in line, and I kind of wanted to be kind of under the radar, and my fiance at the time was in the business too, and she, anyway. So we got back in this little room, and he got to asking me questions, and he was shook up bad. He was shaking, he was filling out paperwork, and I was looking at him, and I turned my phone off, but I started a recorder before it, and Joker never read me my rights. He just got shook up. Every time he get ready to get to a serious part of the report, I start talking to him. So, man, you ever been to a show? You know, I've been thinking about coming, but what was it you had on you again? I don't know, buddy. It's your deal. So I went to court. And this is the funny part. I had to go to court. They actually let me out. I made the flight, but I had to go to court about a month or two later, and we're in there, and the lawyer comes back out, and he was like, "Hey, I think the DA just wants to slap you on the wrist." And I said, "All right, well, that's fine. As long as he ain't going to slap handcuffs on my wrist, we good to go." So I walk in, and I walk up to his little desk, and he says, "Mr. Gilbert, I want you to know that I had 3 friends in the Twin Towers, 2 real good friends." That third some bitch just didn't mean nothing. And my lawyer kind of looked at me kind of weird, and I looked at him, and I was like, "Don't you laugh, you some bitch." And he said, "So I'm not a fan of anybody bringing a weapon on a plane." And I said, "Well, sir, with all due respect," I said, "it was an honest accident. I had no ill will or intentions." I said, "But, you know, if there's somebody that does have weapons on the plane, I promise you I'm the guy you want. The weapons on the plane." And we had a conversation. He says, "You know, Mr. Gilbert, I really looking at you, I didn't expect you to be a respectful young man." The judge a buck, son of a bitch. I said, "Well, sir, I sincerely do apologize." And he said, "Well, I had three friends in Twin Towers, 2 real good friends." You just told me, and my lawyer kind of, and it's time to go. So yeah, that was my story. He must have said that 3 times. I had 3 friends in Twin Towers, 2 real good friends. He's probably 78, 79 years old. Which ain't old anymore, bless his heart. But yeah, I got out of there by the hair on my chin. Well, that's an interesting story. That sucked. I got bad luck at airports, man. My whole band does. We went and did a European tour over there, and the dogs absolutely went nuts on my utility player. And he walked up to the woman, and she said, "Sir, we're not really concerned about marijuana, but you know, the dog's picking something up on your back." And he said, "Let's pot." It ain't a lot of it. It's probably just looking, you know, maybe a seed and some crumbs for this pot. What's weird, and this is word to the wise, if any of you, you know, go out of town or something, make sure you don't slide your bag across like a bathroom counter or a table in there, especially in Vegas. Because these some guys will like chop up lines on the table and leave residue there. If you sweep your bag across it, you get the dog on you quick. Sober for a year. Get off my head. German Shepherds make me nervous anyway. Nazi dogs. They're pretty. But, God, yes, sir.
I saw you on Kenny's tour last year.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, I noticed that Kenny brought a lot of other artists up on stage with him. He brought Jason, Cole, Chase. You never went on stage with him. Never pulled you out. I was wondering why.
Yeah. I'm kind of black sheep of the business. Now, me and Kenny get along, you know, and he's a good dude, but honestly, when I got on stage every day, I bring riders out on the road with me, and I very, very seldom come out of the bus. There's several different reasons for it, but I usually get off stage and do what I got to do, and I start writing. So it was a good chance for a lot of them fellas to come back out and let everybody see them again. They come on earlier in the day, but I was right there in the middle. And once we come out and raise hell, you know, we kind of, we get hit. Well, I appreciate it, baby. Thank you. Yes, sir.
Why are we going with all guys?
I'm gonna get y'all. Man, honestly, when I was a kid, my mom said I had like a little plastic guitar and a plastic microphone I used to put on shows for myself, for like an audience of one. And apparently I wasn't very good. But I don't know, man, it was, I started playing in church, and it's always been more about writing songs than it has anything else. But it kind of evolved into some other stuff, and you know, God works in mysterious ways, and it's been a very, very blessed man. And it's kind of one of those things where I found a knack for it, and there was certain events that happened in my life that really pointed me in a direction and said, well, it's now or never. If you're going to do it, you got to go all out. And it's not really one of those things where you can go at halfway, you know. Awesome. Thank y'all for being here. Oh, hell yeah. Hey, what? Like snakes? Man, I got 3 fears in life. That's snakes, sharks, and commitment. And
Yes, sir.
my wife's helping out with the commitment part. The snakes and sharks are still very much alive and well. All right, we got to, apparently, I'm being sexist. Is that the general opinion? Yes, ma'am. Go ahead.
What was your wedding song?
My wedding song?
The dance.
Me and my wife's song for years has been a Brad Paisley song. I thought I loved you then.
You
Yeah.
make that. Shut
Yeah.
up.
Yeah. I told Brad about it too. We was at a show, and the funniest thing about it was the guy that I had this writer out named Ashley Gorley, and we were writing a song, and he and his wife had a very similar story to my wife and I. And I was like, yeah, man, I said, our first dance is going to be that Brad Paisley song then. And he said, I wrote that. I like that. All right, yes, ma'am, bouncing up and down back there.
I love you first.
Thank you.
So, you're your daily driver. Do you drive a lifted truck or a car?
Oh, God, no, I drive a Ford Raptor. It's, I was going to jack it up more than it's jacked up, but the guy told me, he said, I wouldn't do that. He said, it's a $15,000 Fox suspension I put with some bitch. I wouldn't rip it out. I said, yeah, I'm riding where it come out of the factory. And I'll be in that thing until it falls apart. I literally drove a 2003 Ford Excursion. It smelled like feet. It was awful. It spray painted black. My manager was like, please get a truck, man, please. But I stay on the motorcycle more than anything if I can help it. Yes, sir.
What's one artist that you haven't worked with that you'd be interested in working with?
My answer to that question has always been Hank Jr., but drunk Hank Jr. But I finally got that opportunity. We're on his new record. Me and Justin Moore did Born to Boogie with him. It was funny. Yeah, if you get a chance, it's out on iTunes. You can check it out. It's pretty funny. We had a good time with it. Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Have you ever considered writing about an Army soldier with PTSD and resulting in suicide?
Very much So actually, what was the last part?
He left his family, his high school sweetheart with 3 children, 3, 5, and 8.
Well, that sounds like a very personal story. I hadn't thought about writing that one exactly.
It applies to a lot of people.
Yeah. There's actually a couple of them in the works that I'm working on finishing. But they're, you know, when it comes to songs like that, it's like one hell of an amen. You want to make sure you take your time on them and cover them the right way, because it can come off disrespectful in a lot of ways, and that's the last thing we ever want to do. Well, thank you, darling. I appreciate that very much. Yes, sir. I hope so.
2 questions.
All right, pop 'em.
How long have you and Jesse been playing together, and what music did your parents listen to?
Oh, that's a good question. 8 years. He's been with me 8
I've been
years.
following you for 5.
Oh, yeah?
That's it?
We started at Silverton, a little bar in the Silverton in Las Vegas, and we
Oh,
blew me away.
oh, thanks, man. I
Very
appreciate that.
electric show. It was rock and roll.
Thank you. Well, I hope you have fun
But
tonight, too.
Jesse is, I'm a guitar hero, guys.
Oh, he's unbelievable. We have him, and there's another guy that plays with us now, this long-bearded fella. If you're looking at the stage, he'll be on your right. If you're a guitar guy, watch his fingers. He does some things that are really unorthodox. He's got 2 degrees. He has masters in classical music. I never thought I'd ever hire anybody that had a degree in music. Just got a principle. They're a lot better than me. But they're both really, really insanely good players. They're a lot of fun to watch.
Your parents, did you listen to their music when you were growing up?
I always listened to a little bit of everything. My dad, both of them listened to, my mom listened to a lot of Christian music. I always did growing up. And my dad and her both were a little bit of everywhere. But more my grandpa in Indiana was really where a lot of my influence and stuff came from. He was old country and outlaw country, and just kind of, I dug into that, really took a liking to it. So, a little bit of everything. Yes, ma'am.
Mom and Dad Prodigal Son is one of my favorite songs.
Oh,
So
thank you.
Tell me about where that came from, and don't ever hear you sing it.
Yeah, it's one of those songs that it's kind of, there's a few like that. That one, Saving Amy. My favorite. There's a lot of songs that are hard to, if you put them in a show like tonight, it's really like bouncing in your face. It's hard to recover from them. Once you play them, it's like one hell of an amen's like that sometimes. It has an effect on people where it's just like pow, and then what do you play after it? So it's it's a true story. It's pretty much word for word. When I was 16 or 17, I was in a lot of trouble.
I would love to see it.
For sure. I'll keep that in mind. Yes, ma'am.
Just as I am, is that something personal to you? Or?
Very much. Yes, ma'am. It's a true story as well. Yeah. There's a chapel on 332 on the way from Athens back into my hometown, and I woke up one morning, didn't know where the hell I was at. My knuckles were beat up, I had a black eye. It was a real rough night, and I didn't remember much about it. And that didn't happen to me very often. I never really got blackout. And that was I remember that was one of the first times I said, you know what, this is getting a little bit sideways. I kind of need to reel it in a little bit before I end up dead in a ditch somewhere. And, you know, I've had a history and a bad habit of running with a rough crowd, like for the entirety of my life. And it was one of those times when I woke up and I was like, all right, we got to figure something out different. And that chapel has a big concrete church out, or cross, not a church. The chapel has a church. It has a big concrete cross out in front of it, and I pulled my motorcycle up to it, and it said a prayer just to kind of, you know, if God would help me put the brakes on a little bit so I could, you know, come to a full stop eventually one of these days. Which, mentioning that, y'all, I want to make sure y'all know that I don't look down on people that drink at all. As a matter of fact, I drink vicariously through others. I'm probably the worst influence in this room, but it was just something. You can only wake up naked on so many beaches before. Right, go ahead. Dirty! Yes, ma'am.
What do you think you would be doing right now if you were not in the music industry?
Probably did. That's an interesting question. I'm not real sure. I think towards the end of college, I was really leaning towards like teaching and coaching. But at one point, I had this idea in my mind that I'd have been a good relationship counselor. Reason being, I grew up and I graduated with 66 people, and like you didn't really date the girls from my high school because they were more like family than anything. And I was kind of like the big brother. So I thought I'd have been good at that. Thank God that didn't work out. I'd have been responsible for more divorce than Facebook. Yes, sir.
I just wanted to know, where did If You Want a Bad Boy come from? What inspired you to write that?
That one, I wrote that one actually a while back, and it came from a real true place. It was just kind of like, I wrote it with Troy Burgess, and this fella is not like, he's I don't know how to say this without it sounding, he's a more passive writer. He kind of, writes really pretty songs, writes really good songs, but we sat down and he was like, man, I want to write one of them tough ones like you do, man. Let's write one of them tough ones. And I had an idea. It was kind of like just kind of what you see is what you get, and just coming out and saying, all right, well, I'm going to help you. I wanted to cut a video for it, but them things cost a lot of money, man. I'd love to do a video for every song, but like I said, I'm balling on a budget. Yes, sir.
How does it compare in Europe compared to in America?
If you can help it, stay here. No, we enjoy Europe, man. It's a completely different environment, but it's the fanatics are all over the place. It really depends on town to town, just like it is over here. Every audience is different, but there's a lot of similarities. Actually, it's more the same than different. But being at home is being at home. My head of security has got a question.
Sorry. This side. This side.
Can you get on the show? I was wondering if we could leave now so you have your
He said, considering how mean you get before a show, don't you think we should at least you can have your snickle bar? You're not even hungry, yes ma'am.
Okay, so someone asked you this, but I'm going to ask it a different way.
Okay.
What kind of music influenced you? We heard a lot of AC/DC and Def Leppard tonight. So is that the kind of music that influenced your writing?
I'll tell you again, it's a little bit of everything. I think my iPod, like when I started off writing, I started off with like Skinner or Disturbed, and it'll go all the way from Eminem, T.I. to back to freaking George Jones. You just never know. There's a little bit of everything. All right, we're going to ask a couple more when we match. Yes, sir. I rode down to Daytona with some biker buddies of mine. It was a large club, and I don't really ride it as much as I used to with them fellas. But I will say that was one of the most fun times I ever had in my life. It's a different environment down there. I almost blew my motorcycle up on the strip because you get this, it's a 120R, and you get there and you're kind of idling, and you get stuck in the middle of them streets. And I about fired my leg up, but it was a lot of fun, man. We had a lot of fun. Yes, sir. Lasted over here.
Yeah, man. I just want to thank you for everything you do for Wounded Warriors.
Yes!
Thank you, brother.
Myself being one. And I also want to thank you for what you did for Toys for Tots. I'm a retired Marine.
Awesome, man. Well, brother, I appreciate what you do more than you ever realize. If there's any other active duty or veterans in here, I hope you guys know that, when we do things like that, it's not, I didn't really intend for the Toys for Tots thing to get out. It was supposed to be a little more hush-hush than it was. But I hope you know that when we do things like that, and we work with you guys, that it comes from a true place in our hearts. And it's not a promo thing. So I appreciate you guys and girls more than you know. All right, appreciate it, y'all. I'll see y'all in a bit.